Hello. It is 8:30 and it is Money Monday. Sorry about the lighting. I'm actually in a cab right now on my way to see my beautiful friend Christina perform. And here she is. We're getting
Hello.
ready.
Hello.
Hi.
Queen of England hands. Just so many.
We're getting ready to go to her gig, and that is going to be tonight. I can't wait to see her perform. It's going to be my first time seeing her perform, so that's awesome. And then our special guest tonight is Hector Molina, who is going to be with us in just a second. And we are going to talk net worth. Hi, Hector.
Hi, Galit. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm excellent. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you again for having me with you and your amazing audience.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this. So, I was just telling everyone that tonight's Money Monday is going to be about knowing your net worth and how important that is, and how people can figure out their net worth. And I let them know that you're well, in the initial post, I let them know that you are my business advisor, or one of my business advisors from the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program. But I wanted to give you a chance also to kind of introduce yourself, tell everybody what you do for anyone who didn't see our little teaser video earlier today.
Oh, so great. Thank you so much. And Galit, for having me here again. First of all, shout out to, this is Pride Month. So for all of you, very, very great and amazing stories I have heard all over the month. And because of the celebration of Pride Month, shout out to my people in Puerto Rico that are watching right now, and to the scholars and graduates for the Goldman Sachs and Thousand Small Businesses and the Terry Birch Foundation side of our Goldman Sachs. So it's amazing being here. As Galit said, I'm a banker by trade. Been banking for about 2 decades. Before that, I was in the credit union movement. So I was working with the personal side of banking. Then I transitioned to the commercial side of banking. So I understand both of those worlds. Also, currently I'm a business advisor for the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses, where I met this amazing Chartres, and we share many things in common. I had the opportunity to work with about or over 600 graduates from the program, from the Tory Burch Foundation and the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses, and sharing a lot of information, sharing a lot of experiences, and education throughout those 5.5 years I've been related to Goldman Sachs has been an amazing learning experience, not only to myself but to the whole community. Not only on the business side but also on the personal side as well. So I'm truly blessed and honored to be here with you, Galit, and your audience as well.
Yeah, and I just want to reiterate something you said. That is 600 people and businesses that Hector has had a part in transforming and helping them improve and helping them get to the next level. And one of the biggest things in the Goldman Sachs program that really helped me was not only focusing on my business, but taking a moment to focus also on what my personal aspirations were, and to think of myself as separate from my business. When before, like, my business was my baby, it was my everything, it was
Hmm.
me, it defined me. And now Hector and the other business advisors really made it a point to separate myself from my business and not only know all of my business numbers, but also to know all of my personal numbers. And that was a really big thing for the group to learn as a whole, all of the different businesses. That was so important for us. So tonight, we're going to talk about knowing your net worth. Um, in a business that would this, this is a little bit different, but tonight we're going to talk about personal a little bit more, and knowing your net worth, and knowing your numbers for yourself personally will allow you to do all different things. So, Hector, coming from the banking side, how about can you speak to some of the things that they would need their net worth for?
Oh, yeah, sure. So when you're talking about net worth, what is the net worth, right? So defining that is what you actually have, your asset, your cash in bank, maybe jewelry, properties, if you have them, anything that you own is part of your assets. But also we have debt, right? We have credit cards, we have personal loans, we have auto loans, and we have different credit facilities that throughout our life, well, those are things that you have to pay on a monthly basis. So when you subtract one from the other, when you subtract the what you owe to other people, to other institutions or banking institutions, and you subtract that from your assets, everything that you own, that is the formula to calculate the net worth. So when you are assessing or looking at that net worth, it's just listing everything that you own, listing everything that you owe, and then you subtract that, and then you have your net worth. Sometimes, Galit, sometimes, and it's unfortunate that we found that our net worth is low, or is very, or is zero, or sometimes it's negative. What does that mean? It means that we owe more than we have, and that is a position that no one wants to be at that particular moment. If you are there, we're going to talk a little bit more about how to get out of that particular situation, and strategies and tactics and different tools that you can utilize in order to improve that net worth. But there is always tracking. If you want to go from point A to point B, you need to track that net worth.
Yes, give me 1 second. I'm just
Yep,
getting out of the cab. Sorry. I
that's okay. We're live,
did you
right? We're
catch?
live.
Yeah, this is real life where I am on my way to a drag performance by my really good friend Christina, and this is the first time I'm gonna see her perform drag. So
Awesome.
sorry. So that's why it was a little bit crazy. But I'm back. Now I'm out of the cab, so there will be good lighting and no more distractions.
That's
Um,
good.
but so yes, that's definitely for that's definitely something to think about. That people don't who haven't looked at their net worth, they don't know if it's positive, if it's negative, if they owe more than they own. And then this is something that's really important when you go to get a loan from a bank. They are looking at your net worth. They are doing calculations and seeing, you know, what is your ability to pay them back. And if
Exactly.
you're stuck in a negative net worth, you're not going to get that loan.
No?
So knowing what your net worth is actually a tool that you can use to try to improve your situation, because what I always find and what I tend to tell people is you can't win a race if you don't know where the starting line is.
Exactly, exactly. And to your point, Galit, is extremely important. People recognize and assess where they are at this very moment. So if I want to achieve a better net worth, yeah, you have to measure this, and it's painful sometimes. It is painful and it's personal, but you have to go through that process.
Yeah, and you know what? In a lot of cases where it's painful, and a lot of cases that I see, it's actually people have made it out to be a lot worse. Have made their situations out to be a lot worse than they are in reality.
Yeah.
And because they've kind of built it up in their brains. It's super overwhelming. They'd rather stick their head in the sand and not think about it. But the truth is that in a lot of cases, it's actually better than they thought it was.
Yeah, and you know, Galit, what I have found in many of our business owners that I have the opportunity to work with, and not only on the business side but also on the personal side, it is related to a money story, right? And we were talking about a little bit about this earlier. What is your money story? And the money story that you have, not necessarily it was built by you, it was built by the people who bring you up, right, or raise you up, and we inherit this, because at home there was plenty of money, or at home there was no money at all. Maybe one of my parents or one of the family members in my household lost his job or her job, so money was a little bit more short on that time. And this has impacted so many lives. And also religion, also you have ethnicity, how different cultures look at money. So one of the things that I usually recommend to many people, what is your relationship with money? And to tell that story, that money story. Does that make sense, Galit?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And if anybody is watching right now or on the replay, please remember that if you have any questions or you want to tell us your money story, you can do so in the comments. And I'm so glad to see so many people tuning in. But do you have any specific money stories that you were told,
Well,
Hector?
without saying names, right? I can tell, there was this married couple. One is the business owner, the other one is the spouse, and she was raised in another country, in an area that was not that affluent, right? That there was not that much money at the time in her household. Her husband, on the other side, they had plenty of money, right? They knew themselves here in New York. Actually, no, in New York, I believe it was in another state. They get married. So she is running her business, and she is, very careful in terms how she spent every penny. And the business is doing good, but she is saving and saving and saving. One time, the husband asked her, "What are you going to do with all that money that you have saved?" And I said, "Well, just in case." In case of what? You're not enjoying the fruits of your hard work. We are just saving, saving, saving. And saving is very important. Don't get me wrong, right? But also, you want to achieve certain areas or certain things in life. And if you're saving, 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 and all of a sudden you are gone, well, you are gone, right? You have never enjoyed that. There are other money stories that this business owner, there was a lot of money in their household because they inherit that money. So dad is spending money like there is no tomorrow. What happened is the money dried out, and as he is growing up, now he has that mentality of spending money, but he has not that much money. So it has caused him to be highly leveraged, has a lot of debt, and now to the point that he cannot manage this. So you are not, you are not the culprit of that part of the money story. However, what I always tell many folks is, if that was your money story, what is the money story that you want to build? What is the money story that you want to tell from going on, from this point moving on? And that's where, I see the value of this topic that you're bringing to the audience, and that are watching right now. You at your home or at your office or wherever you are, leading to that, a show that Galit is leading right now or heading right now. Do you want to make a change in your life? Do you want to make a significant impact in your life? Or you're going to base your relationship of money with regrets or resentment or fear or anger, right? And that's the assessment that you have to do with yourself. And so I always recommend or advise people, write down, jot it down, everything that you have feel in your development as a person, pour your soul there, and then say, bam, that is my money story. I'm not that happy about it. It has cost me a lot of things or troubles or issues or challenges throughout my life. But now this is the money story that I want to tell. And then you put your aspirations, as you well said before. What do I aspire as a person? What do I want to accomplish? As a woman, as a man, as a business person, or as a daughter, as a sibling, or as a sister, or as a mother, or as a friend. In that sense, what is it that you want to accomplish? The metric of assessing your net worth right now, uh, just trigger those emotions and those aspirations, because you don't want to be always catching up, playing catching up. There is no value in that, Galit. And we have many people that are struggling paycheck to paycheck in all the continental United States, and it is not fair for many folks to be in that situation.
Yeah. And like we said before, if you know where you're starting from and you know where you want to go, then you can plan out a path to get you to your aspirations, to get you to your goals. But it all starts with knowing where you are today and giving yourself systems in which to
Exactly.
track your journey, and reaching out and getting support from people to help you along the way. There's one system that I use, and I've spoken about it in a couple of Money Mondays, but I personally use Mint,
Mint.
which
That's a great
is,
application.
I love it, and it's free, and it will give you your net worth. And what you do is you attach all of your credit cards to it, your bank account.
Hmm.
It pulls transactions, all of your retirement accounts, any investment accounts that you have. You can put in like your mortgage account and the property that you own, and it calculates your net worth for you. You
Hmm.
can add I've added, entries for assets like jewelry,
Hmm.
or if you have like expensive furniture or paintings or things that have some kind of value, you can put those in your car. Um, you put all of that in,
Hmm.
all of that
Hmm.
data in, and it will give you your net worth. And the so that is like the first thing that you can use for that.
Yeah.
I I personally have not used YNAB or You Need a Budget. I believe that's a little bit more budgeting based, but I'm pretty sure that there's a piece of it
Hmm.
that will also give you your net worth.
That's right.
And and what actually Hector did earlier today was provided me with a worksheet that the SBA, the Small Business
Hmm.
Association, uses to calculate net worth.
That's
And
correct.
I'm gonna try to attach that. It's a PDF in the comments. If not, what I'll do is I'll give you the link in the comments so
Hmm.
that you can do the net worth calculations for yourself. And that'll really give you your starting point, and you can get then you take your aspirations and you figure out where you need to go and how to get there.
Yeah.
um, yeah.
And also in this process, Galit, sometimes people, they I don't know why, but they love to beat themselves up. In that sense, be kind with yourself. There's some mistakes and errors that we have made in our life with money and with our relationship with money. Those are learning experiences. So don't beat up yourself, please. Do not. Just be mindful in terms of where do you want to go. There is one thing that I want the audience to think about is, did you remember that first time that you earned some money? Whether it is washing a car or, I don't know, doing something for a neighbor, and you say, wow, even though it was a small amount of money, but it was earned by you for the first time. Just think about how you felt at that time. and try to bring that back to today. And in that sense, just aim high. You don't have to beat up yourself. That's a message that I want everybody to think about. As we conclude, or as whenever we finish this transmission, just remember that time, how good you felt at that time when you earned that money.
Yeah, and that's huge. Forgiving
Hmm.
yourself for past money
Yeah.
mistakes, because we all have them. Every single person has made money mistakes. I don't care who you are or
Hmm.
what walk of life you're coming from. If you were born with a silver spoon, you have
Yeah.
made a mistake sometime during your life.
That's good.
And
Yeah.
it doesn't pay to sit and wallow in it. It's not going to help you in any way. So release it and move forward, because that's one of the things that I'm going to bring it back to sharks, but that's one of the
Hmm.
things that I love about sharks is like there is no looking back at the past.
Exactly.
They can't swim backwards.
Yeah.
Like
Imagine that.
they are literally always moving forward. And it doesn't matter, you can pivot as many times as you want, but that's a pivot. That's not going back.
Hmm.
And that's the way that I want people to think about it of, all right, so you made a mistake, big deal, let it go
Hmm.
and push forward, because you know deep down inside where you want to go.
That's
So
that's pearls of wisdom, my friend.
yeah, and that was huge for me in the Goldman Sachs program. Like putting it down on paper, which is what you recommended,
Yes.
putting it down on paper is huge. It is life-changing. It is literally telling yourself, telling the universe, telling everyone everyone within earshot, like
Hmm.
this is what I want and this
Yeah.
is where I'm going.
There's
And
something, Gali, that happens in your mind whenever you write down these things. Either whether is your money story, your current money story, and the money story that you want to tell yourself, right? And there's something that happens in the mind when you write this down. It's like you are saving this, and you are being accountable to yourself, and you have a baseline where to move on from, right? And in that sense, those aspirations, have to be present all the time. As soon as you start to write this down, I can guarantee you, I promise you, you will feel good every time.
yeah, what it does, it creates intention.
Mm-hmm.
It All of a sudden you start thinking about your life and your money with intention, and instead of just letting things happen to you, you now can create a proactive way of getting what you want. And I think that's the real difference
Yeah.
between, you know, being being able to reach your goals
Mm-hmm.
and letting life happen.
Yeah, that's right. And also, Galit, I can add to that, about the intention. When you are committed to yourself, right, in achieving this, when you are interested in achieving this, what is the difference? And I want the folks that are listening to this transmission, which is Facebook Live, if I am interested in accomplishing these aspirations, these dreams, these goals, and if something happens, life throws me something at me, I said, nah, I'm not gonna pursue on this. I can live without it. That's when you are interested. But when you are committed, and I mean really committed, there's nothing that life will throw at you that will prevent you to achieve those goals, to hit your mark. So ask yourself if you are truly committed or just interested. If you're just interested, you're setting yourself for failure. If you are committed, you're setting yourself for success. So that's where you become a victor and not the victim of your money story.
Yeah. And that's actually huge. And I live by that, because I've told people before, like I'm a jumper, right?
Hmm.
I commit to something, it's going to happen, or there's no other option. right? It's going to succeed. There's no failure. And sometimes it'll take me longer than what I wanted it to
Hmm.
take me. And I've really had to learn how to practice what I call detachment from the way that things happen and the way things are given to me. But ultimately, I know deep down I will reach my goal because I've set it. I've set that intention. I've made that decision. I've jumped with everything that I have into it. And it's a really scary thing for a
It
lot of
is.
people,
It is.
but there there's a way to do it that you don't have to necessarily be like me. You don't have to be a jumper. But if you set that intention and you put a plan in motion, that is the same level of commitment.
Yeah.
You have to put the plan in motion and you have to keep going and make it happen.
I truly agree with you. And also, Galit, it doesn't matter how many goals you set up in life, whether it's on terms of your money story or your net worth or the things that you have, it's everything is here in your mind. And sometimes those conversations, internal conversations that we have with ourselves, that internal voice, and sometimes it's just like it's noise, right? And sometimes we hear many things around us that are not really giving us the energy to pursue that what we want. So sometimes you have to say to that voice, shush, or to the many voices that you have inside, shush, I got this. I'm going to make this happen because this is my intention. This is where I want to live. This is how I want to live my life. So those affirmations are very important. There are many, many, many tools around ourselves, whether it's meditation, yoga, tai chi, or playing sports, or doing your favorite things. Think about all those times that you have been doing things that you love the most, and bring that energy into what you want to accomplish. Life will not stop because you have this amazing plan or this amazing money story. Life will continue. Will still throwing things at you. Is how you get up. Is how you pursue that. Again, are you interested in doing this, or are you really committed to do this? And I think we have the power to maneuver our life as a boat, as a ship, and we are the captains or the admirals of our own ships, let's call it like that, right? To go to that safe port. We have the ability to do this, and sometimes we are sometimes I believe we are. Or our brain, our mind is our best ally, but can be our worst enemy as well. So talk to yourself, change that tune, change that frequency. In that sense, make this commitment, make this intentional, so that you can achieve and live the life that you always wanted to live.
Yeah. And so Josh asks, what's your favorite exercise to silence the noise?
Ah, I love that question. I do Tai Chi, and I really like that. Is that conversation with the flow, the energy with myself, but also I love classical music, and that's one of the things. And smooth jazz, right? Light jazz. Those are the music, and Tai Chi is the way that I stop all those conversations. And sometimes for many other people, it will be other things, but that's what works with for me. Thank you for
Yeah.
that
So
question.
yeah, I think for me, it's reframing that noise. Instead, like if it's something that I'm telling myself that's negative, trying to turn it into a positive and reframe the situation for myself. So instead of saying, oh, I don't have enough money to get this thing this month, or it'll be reframing it to, I have so much in my life that honestly, I don't necessarily even need that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have a roof over my head. I have food to eat. I am surviving. I am thriving. And just to keep switching the script on myself.
Hmm.
So from, I don't have enough to there is so much abundance in my life. And I actually have a abundance morning routine that I
Hmm.
created, and it's available. I will put it in the comments of this, but it's available as part of my Shark to Success School and also as a separate course just on its own. And it is literally all of the steps that I take in the morning to channel abundance into my
Hmm.
life and to get rid of scarcity. And
Yeah.
a big part of that is just creating these positive affirmations that I tell myself. And it's been really, really important and really life changing for me. Like it involves like some gratitude practice, some
Hmm.
affirmations, and a lot of other pieces.
Yeah.
But it's been something that it changing that in your life and changing into that mindset is a totally different life.
Yeah. And it's
You
a
live a
process.
totally different life.
And it's a
Yeah.
process. It doesn't get, you don't get there from one day to another. But I love what you said about the gratitude, about the affirmation. I truly believe that 80% of our intention and things that we want to accomplish is here, and 20% is the execution. Right? So, and we, it is, our minds are very powerful. Sometimes we don't recognize that, but our minds is very powerful. Our minds are very powerful. So just leverage that. You are the best resource that you have. You are the best resource. And don't go by the noise, and don't go by, oh, so and so is telling me this, so and so is telling me that. You are unique. You are unique. There is a study that says that you are 1 in 400 trillionth. The possibility of having another Galit, having another Hector, just exactly like Galit or exactly like Hector, is 1 in 400 trillion times. So you are so unique, and you can make this happen. It's just as Galit said before, is doing it with a purpose, doing it with an intention, and put your plan together, and measure that net worth, and look at the aspirations that you have, and put the plan together. I will recommend always to listen to Galit all the time. She has a lot of wisdom, and I have worked with her, and I truly believe in the things that she is passionate about, and the things that how she works with the rest of the world. So just make that your purpose today.
Yes, amazing. And thank you, Afua. The whole time she's been like highlighting these really great
Amazing.
quotes from tonight. So I'm so happy that she's here. She's talking about gratitude and affirmations, us being the best resource, that you are the best resource that you have. I really, really appreciate you, Afua. You're awesome. I love that you highlight things in a conversation. So I am going to have to close up a little bit for the night because I
Good.
want to go inside and see the show.
Perfect.
But I'm so happy that you were here, Hector, today
Uh,
to talk
my
about
pleasure, my
net
honor.
worth. Um, I'm going to put the course from Shark to Success School in the comments. If you've got any other questions for us, feel free to comment because we are still we're still here. We will be answering questions even if you're watching this later on the replay. Um, and if you have anything to add to the conversation, if you want to put in your money story, if there's something else you want to talk about, please bring it. Um, it's super important because your questions and your comments, I guarantee you that there's somebody else that has the same comment or the
Hmm.
same question that might be too scared to post it. So, really, by asking questions, you're helping our whole community.
That's
So,
amazing.
thank you again, Hector.
You're
It was
welcome. Most welcome.
amazing having you. And have a great Money Monday, everyone.
You too. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye.